Yes. Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
otherwise go on.
Okay. And then we talk about the location from the really big scale, and then zoom it and to talk about our study site and the surrounding areas, this central city, and then come to our summary of our SWOT analyze. And after we talk about the SWOT analyze, we come to
Go
our
back just a minute,
yes, yes,
please.
yes.
I mean, you will be presenting via Zoom, so I think the size that they will be seeing is very close to what I'm seeing. These maps are really small. I mean, I
Yes,
don't know what you're
We will
going to.
change the map.
yes, yes.
We still not finish the SWOT.
Okay,
Mm.
okay. Because as I said, right now, I mean,
Yeah, so will be about four page for the SWOT and one for each sim. Yes.
okay, that's fine. But just as I said, because you don't want to, yeah, confuse them. But anyway, go on.
Okay. And after the SWOT analyze, we come to our priority area, and each sim have its own priority area. And
Okay, I've been telling students that how many slides do you have in total?
what?
How many slides do you have in total?
About nearly 50.
Okay, because you have 20 minutes. Okay.
Yes.
So some of the stuff that you produced and you'll have even updated, since then in the first half of the semester, everything basically that you have done from the beginning of the semester needs to go to your report and will go to your report. Okay. But when it comes to the presentation, present these priority areas before, the options and all of that, only if you have time.
Okay.
And I don't know if you have time.
Okay.
Practice, check your timing. If you don't, you can always say that built on the, SWOT, these are the two options. And you can say that, more information about how we got that and all of that, is included in the report, priority areas, whatever. But because the reason is that these priority areas were part of the process that we went through to get to the options.
Yes.
But this second presentation, should be mostly about refinement of your final strategic scenario, rather than how we got even to the beginning of final strategic scenario. Okay. So these thematic things that you want to show me, only include them if you have time. If you don't have time, if you start practicing and realize that you're running out of time, this could be basically excluded from this final presentation because you have 20 minutes. And to be honest, you're already telling me that you have 50 slides. So I am a bit unsure if that's too many. It may be too many. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. Go on.
But we still need to upload to the assessment two-way. Is that right?
What do you mean by upload to the assessment?
The assessment we put on the canvas.
Again, it depends. I mean, sometimes people include them in the presentation, in their slides, and they say that, for the sake of timing, I'm not going to talk about them. So if they are there, then it is in the assessment. Otherwise, I have, when it comes to the next assignment, okay, we're going to mark things together. Okay, so we're going to mark your presentation and your report submission all together. Okay. So we are going to wait for your report submission. So even if you don't include something in the presentation, but if you include it in the report, then you'll be fine. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So again, it depends on your timing because there are only 2 weeks. The two assignments are really joined to each other. So I'm like, don't worry about, if you miss something in the presentation because they need to be in the report. Okay, go on.
Okay. And after the 4 priority area, and then we talk about the previous option.
Okay, so that is basically what I'm talking about. Okay, so the two options.
Option 1 is just the extension of the previous CBD of Primata, and the other is the multiple center. It's a kind of a plan for multiple center that we have about 4 more city center to help this area to grow better. Yes, we talk about the difference, and finally we come up with benchmarking, and then come up to
Just a
our
moment, just a
yes,
moment, just a moment.
yes, yes.
Hold on that slide here for a minute. So I want to see what we have here.
Yes.
This is business as usual, number of job, option 2. Connectivity, capacity, I mean commute capacity. Livability. Go on.
Yes, and after the benchmarking, we just come up with our final strategy plan, and maybe the map can be smaller and make the
Okay, no, but you guys go back. You need to do a bit more, better job of the evaluation. The evaluation, I mean, you're almost jumping over the evaluation.
Yes.
This one line pros and cons is not enough as evaluation.
Page 10,
You need to really show how each option and also BAU rank on your objectives. Okay, at least one slide. There needs to be one additional slide on evaluation.
So you mean the criteria about
you have thematic objectives. You have started your work. Go back to the assessment description, and even in my slides in the previous weeks, I have explained how evaluation needs to happen. You don't have it here.
No. We have in the appendix. This one or 4th.
Yeah, so put a summary version of it there, because not having anything on this slide is a big red sign. Okay.
Okay. After
I mean, some people have even in my lectures, I have shown some of those, even graphical way of, assessing when people do those graphs. So you may want to even have a visual version of it, but you need to put something. You can't, because just tell me which one of these things ended up being your preferred scenario, the 2 options.
Maybe the next page, the small photo shows.
The page 10.
That evaluation thing, you need to make a bigger one. So anyway, which option ended up being there, because this is so small, I can't even see it. That needs to.
We'll put it live.
Yeah, exactly. And can you tell me which option was the preferred option at the end? Was it option 2?
Option 2.
Okay, so option 2 ended up being your. Okay, so go back, and now go to that slide. Next one.
This one. Okay.
So let me see what is happening here.
Okay.
And those slide, those again.
No.
What is happening, guys? Why are you zooming? Okay, those 3 graphs that you have, I don't know what they are, but I can't see them. The fact that I can't see them.
You mean it's too small?
Yeah, they're too small.
Yes,
what
of
are
course.
they?
We will change the map, make the map smaller, and make the graph visible. Yes.
I don't know what they are, and I cannot read them. Final. Yes, they're definitely too small. It just, as I said, you definitely need to put one additional evaluation slide, and then hopefully some of the larger version of some of these information can go on that slide.
Yes.
But on that note, so this is your final strategic plan, and there need to be very clear things in terms of the numbers.
Yes.
Just bear in mind that we have now reached a stage that you can no longer just put the total job number or even total housing number. You need to show us the diversity within them.
Yes.
If it is about job, job within different sectors. If it is about housing, different housing type.
Yes.
So what is the next slide?
Okay, this may be the cover page of our phase introduction. And
phase introduction.
Yes, phase introduction. Yes.
So go to the phases. I want to see what you have in the phases.
The phase, just like that.
Guys, I cannot see these these numbers are really small.
But map.
If I cannot read them, I mean, maybe for a minute do actually the full version, so I can see actually what is the size that maybe that is Do the full.
Oh, yes, this one.
Okay, it's slightly better, but still small. Can you see what I'm?
But do you think the map can be smaller, or what we can do to make it more clear?
Okay, let me see for a minute. Key
Yes.
action phase 1. What is this key actions phase 1? I mean, can you explain it to me? Are these some of the main actions that you have taken in this phase?
Yeah, for each color, for each thing.
Yes, which color? Maybe in the presentation we can just talk about. First, we do something, and then what will we do for?
I think even the word could be slightly larger without too much trouble. I'm talking about the word on, here, for example, when you have the capacity AM, capacity PM, the bars underneath them, or the bars under quantity, and, you can just the font size, just make it slightly bigger. That would make a difference.
Yes. Okay.
Because, for example, the font size that you have for legend is okay, but the fonts, these are too small. I don't know the one that is saying the percentages. I don't even know if we necessarily, that's another thing. Are you suggesting 68% drop increase in 10 years? That's actually quite a lot. Then you have to tell me how you're going to make that happen. And so go next. I want to see what is it that you guys, I want to see what is the next slide.
Yes.
Guys, go to the next slide. What's happening?
Yes. Maybe the first stage we have really much drops. Really many
So
drops.
okay, this is the
Okay.
Yeah, to be honest, I feel like it's a bit of unusual that you're pushing such a huge increase in phase 1. And
I can explain it because we have multiple centers, so maybe we have more space for jobs than other team. Yes, we firstly in the first stage we just force the government to provide more jobs.
yeah, but the thing is that it takes time. So I am very surprised. It's usually that the first phase is actually slower in most cases because it actually takes time to build things.
Yes.
But here your phase seems to be really sharp in terms
Yes.
of job number.
Yes.
When the second phase, then it is really small, and the third phase is really almost like nothing. It should be almost the other way around because you need to build the momentum.
Yes.
It doesn't go the other way around.
Yes.
And that is one thing that is really, I'm finding it a bit, difficult to digest. But other than that, can you show me what happens after your 3 phases? What's the next slide?
Is the final, maybe is a phase 1, maybe
Final map with final data
final data. Yes. Maybe
no, I mean, what about your focus areas? What about your priority projects or focus areas?
The next page.
Okay. So that's what I'm saying. Show them to me. Okay. So
after
this
the action for each thing. Yeah. Action.
What is this? I'm a bit confused. Can you tell me what is this?
This action map is a map where we talk about what action happened in where. for each sim. Wow, this one. Oh, yes. It's the strategy phase for 3 phase of each sim. Yes. After that, each sim have their action map, and then have the phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Maybe more specific about what we do in each sim.
Okay, okay. This is not. This is when we say go specific. I mean, just a moment. Can you please go to the next? I mean, the slide that you had there. Go next.
Which one?
Go next.
This one?
Go next. You're going
Oh,
backward.
okay, first.
Go forward.
Yeah.
Go forward. Go forward. Okay. From here on, especially these numbers, this is not what we're asking for. This is the place that, especially for these specific zones, you need, because you are putting these numbers, and even you have even translated some of them, at least, to a square meter, which is good. That is good. But you need to tell me how you came up with these numbers, and in order to do that, you need to show me the benchmark. What are the projects that have inspired you? Where did you get these numbers from? Because there should be some clear benchmarking done here against best practices around the board that are relevant to these different zones. And that is why I mean, you may even have too many zones, if you ask me, maybe at least for some of them, but that benchmarking is missing. I mean, unless you tell me that you have done it a bit later, I don't know. We'll go to the rest of the presentation. I want to see what is happening next.
Yes.
Go next, go.
Yes, and then come to our focus area. Yes.
Those were brief. Okay, I'm a bit confused, but okay, so show me your focus areas then. What do we have in focus areas?
Yes, for place, the Permata, and maybe this.
Okay.
And then come to each one with.
Okay, one thing that I mean, you guys are gonna have 20 minutes. You won't have time to go through all of them. What I'm telling people is that for the presentation next week, I mean, introduce your focus areas, but only go to detail for 1 or 2 of them.
Yes.
Because you will not have time for 20 minutes to elaborate on all of them. Okay.
Yes.
And include the rest in the report.
Yes, in the report we have the full page, but in the presentation we only talk about 1 or 2.
Okay, go next slide.
Yes, this one.
So it is your.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, maybe this place. Should I explain why I chose this place, or just go on to show the page? Yes, we have. Then come to the criteria.
Okay, so maybe you may talk to me about your this focus area. This focus area. I mean, tell me what is it that is happening, because I'm a bit.
Yes, talk about this one. Okay, and as my sim is the connectivity, and I want to show the relationship between, because this light rail, this new light rail is in the phase 3 and in the final phase, and I want to show the relationship between the light rail and the city, and the back road and the city. And I just want to show the relationship and the improvement of what I have done. Just maybe I in order to improve the experience of the people riding the bike, I just or just along the street, maybe I just make the street wider and put more street frontage open space.
What's the benchmark that inspired this focus area? Can you show me which best practice example has inspired? Because I mean, I need you guys to include, at least a couple of good benchmarks for each focus area project.
So benchmarking means the case study. Yes, right. Case study. We need.
You're calling it case study, okay?
Yes.
Maybe.
Okay. I can do some case study, but sorry.
Just remember, because the word benchmark is very important. It is not I am. It's these are two different words that are very different, guys. When you say case study, the weight that you're putting on something is much more limited than when I say benchmark.
Yes.
That is why we want you to use the right terminology, because when you say that something is a benchmark, you're really building on it.
Okay.
But when you say case study is a very, it's just much more timid word, if you like, in English. Okay. So that is why the language matters.
Okay.
Cornia, I just brought you here with me, but I think the two of us perhaps need to have a chat in the main room. But I thought that, instead of you waiting for me there, it would be better if we both are here.
Join the conversation. Yeah.
Yes.
Are you done with this group?
No, I'm talking to them. These guys have produced quite a lot of work. That's good to see. There's still a bit of confusion with some of the details and some of the languages. For example, I'm asking them about benchmark, and they tell me that they have case studies, and I was explaining that case studies and benchmarks are two different words in English. And the word benchmark is much heavier word, and that is why we use it, because when we say that something is benchmark, we're really against something, we're really building on it, but case study doesn't have the same weight. Another thing that I haven't got to with this group, and perhaps even when you come back and talk to them, this was one of the groups. Guys, are you listening to me?
Yes.
Yeah.
You were one of the groups that I was a bit disappointed, maybe more than a bit, with the quality of your note pages last time. And I'm a bit worried because this time the quality of notes pages are going to be scrutinized much more. And if anything, especially when it comes to the report submission, language issues are going to play a very important role in your final mark. So, and I was looking, when you were showing me the slides, I didn't see too much writing in the note page, which PowerPoint shows before we move to this. So I don't know how much progress you have done with your notes page writing.
Yes, maybe.
How much have you done? Tell me.
Yes. We just don't have the note page.
It is really important, guys, because your graphic skills are much better than your writing skills. And something that you're weaker at, you shouldn't leave it to the very end.
Yes.
When you're already exhausted, otherwise I would say that a lot of things here in the graphic, I mean, I've given you a few tips, but I am more concerned about your writing and your notes and your report submission because of what I saw last time.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. For example, last time your graphic and your mapping were much better than your notes pages. If anything, I can tell you your notes pages were almost like at fail level, but your graphic was much better, and that is what brought your mark higher. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yes.
If you produce the same quality writing this time with the final report, they're going to be in trouble with your marks.
Okay.
Okay. So you shouldn't leave it to the very last minute.
Okay.
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 Got it.
Okay, how about I'll leave you for now. I have a quick chat with Cornia, and then Cornia can come back to you.
Yes. Okay. Of course. Thank you, teacher.
Okay.
Thank you, tutor.
So Cornia, let's go back to the main room.
I'll see you all soon.
哦，讲完了。看老师的意思是，上次 note page 好好教，他妈的给你70分，是这意思吧？
啊？啥？
他说上次 note page 不行啊，但是我们 graphic 做得好。
说我们图画的好，但是 note page 不行。
对 note page 不行，但是我们没好好做，那他妈就是演讲稿复制的。
对啊，我们
所以说
着急忙慌的就交上去了。
这次嘛，哎，这次那大家注意写一写吧，有空用中文先写一写。
我操！他上次居然说我们图画的好
啊！他说如果你 note page 好一点，我就更高了。
他说相比较而言，图画的好，但是文字写的太烂了。
对，他说如果这次还教一样的东西，那你完了。
所以我们这次也是每一页一个 note page。
对，正好理一下思路嘛，大家演讲稿可以照着那个念。
可以吧？
但是要写的更官方一点，对吧？
然后他俩一会儿还要回来。
对，咱回来吧，咱们最后一组吧，
咱俩说还要回来啊，他说一会儿见啊。
什么叫切屏切慢点？
那小黑在听我们一直听着在那屌笑了，真的一直在偷笑。
妈的！
哎，等一下，他说介绍 focus area 的时候有个 benchmark 是什么东西啊
？benchmark 就是 case study 吗？
我觉得还是 case，
就是你觉得你从哪儿看到了一个东西，你觉得好， OK， 你就拿来用了，是这意思。
你的灵感是从哪来的？
对，灵感。
那不就是我最后一页放的东西啊？
对啊，就是你那一页
放个是
放的东西、啊。
你放了啥？对，留我应该先放你这个，他妈的。
但是这一页要在前面。
对，这页我本来也是想着把它放到封面去，就每个主题的封面是这个，然后再介绍现状，然后再介绍对比，再介绍 3D 模型。
没有，我觉得是先介绍现状，
是把对，先介绍现状，然后把你要的东西贴在旁边，而不是放图上。你可以放图上，但是你先放旁边吧。对呀。
当然，这次你录下来了吧？
录了，这下录了，操，那这下必须录了。